I have said many, many a times on a few videos, $15 an hour federal minimum wage would destroy the American economy. And there are good reasons that it will. $15 an hour minimum wage, this right here, this story is exactly what is going to happen. Now, on a personal level, bring on $15 an hour minimum wage because you're going to bump me up into the top 1%. I promise you. So from a personal level, $15 an hour minimum wage, I'm loving it. I am absolutely freaking loving it. I will be loving it all the way to the bank. But for the average American and for the United States as a whole, which in my opinion supersedes myself, you see, we're all part of something a little bit bigger here. Yeah, we have our own personal little biases and things like that, but as a whole, I care about the United States. And a $15 an hour minimum wage, no matter how badly I might personally want it, and no matter how badly my company would definitely love that, because let me tell you something, we will work less hours and we will make more money. If you guys, if the federal government raises $15 an hour minimum wage, I'm going to be working like half the amount of hours that I have to, plus making more money. And I know it sounds funny, but in my field, that's exactly the way it's going to work, because we're going to be charging so much that businesses will call us as little as possible. But that 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 calls a day are going to be freaking astronomical in price. Let's read this. Target raised wages, then it cut workers' hours and doubled their workload. Gee, who could have foreseen that? I wonder. Every serious economist, anybody who cares about the United States and knows their history, and those who do not know their history are sure doomed to repeat it. Workers say Target is making drastic cuts to their schedules and doubling their workload as it increases minimum wage under its modernization plan to increase efficiency. Yes, they are virtue signaling that we are going to get $15 an hour minimum wage. Meanwhile, we're going to cut your hours, we're going to double your workload, we're not going to make you eligible for health care, and because of your $15 an hour minimum wage, you're going to be above the criteria to be able to get Medicaid or Medicare or food stamps or anything like that, so you're absolutely screwed! Congratulations. Adam Ryan, 31, has worked at Target in Christiansburg, Virginia for 3 years. He works additional jobs whenever he is able to, but is regularly scheduled to only 20 hours per week at Target, despite having open availability. I have to live with my parents because I can't afford rent on my own. I don't have health insurance. I've had a rotting tooth in my mouth for years that I haven't been able to receive treatment for. I've applied for Medicaid in Virginia, and every time I'm told I make too much money. And Target has told me I don't qualify for their benefits because, I don't work enough hours. How many times have we heard that story? Yeah, you're working just under the number of hours required for you to be able to get some sort of health insurance. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Said Ryan, who is also an organizer with Target Workers Unite, an independent initiative of Target workers. He makes $13 an hour, the hourly minimum wage at Target since June 2019, which is scheduled to increase to $15 an hour by the end of 2020. And another thing that I would say that would happen at the end of 2020, your hours would be cut even more, and your responsibilities would be loaded on even more. You'll be required to do more work for, well, even less money, but you're making more per hour. You're making $15 an hour, but you're not getting very many hours. But Ryan had said several other Target workers have noted a drastic reduction in schedule hours and significant increases in workloads as Target has increased their minimum wage and rolled out a modernization plan in 2019 to increase efficiency. They think that broader influences in the retail sector are responsible for their plight, notably the actions of their hard-charging rival Amazon. They're responding to what Amazon is doing, Ryan added. They're trying to turn these stores into their own distribution centers, using brick-and-mortar stores. We have to be warehouse workers and customer service workers. Target Workers Unite recently released a survey of more than 500 Target workers around the United States, representing 382 different stores in 44 states. That is a pretty nice wide variety, okay? Only 12.7% of the workers who responded said they could survive on the wages from Target alone, with 56% of workers citing they have ran out of food while employed at Target, and 12.8% of workers reported experiencing homelessness. Yeah, Yeah, because when you work at Target and they are saying you're getting $15 an hour, but you're getting $15 an hour and they're cutting your hours because they're not going to cut into their line. If they raise their prices to cover the $15 an hour minimum wage, then they're cutting into their bottom line because people are going to shop elsewhere. So their only recourse is to cut their hours. And I guarantee you right now, behind doors, they're thinking of some sort of a different plan. They're thinking of some sort of an automation. They're thinking of some sort of an online store. Yes, something like Amazon. Why? Less employees, and you can cut their hours more. Less overhead. The survey also provides some insight into Target's opposition to workers organizing. Of course, they don't want a union. They don't want representatives. They want you to be little plebes working. I mean, come on now. You're the owner of a business. You just want your people to work and shut up and do your thing because you're a conglomerate company making billions of dollars. I don't know what Target makes. Some 50% of workers surveyed report management telling them not to discuss wages with other workers, which has absolutely been upheld by the Supreme Court. You are allowed to discuss your wages. In fact, it is encouraged by the Department of Labor for employees to discuss their wages. Any employer that tells you you are not allowed to discuss your wages with other employees is lying to you and breaking the law. You are perfectly within your legal rights to discuss your wages. And in fact, the Bureau of Labor Statistics encourages it because it shows that if employees discuss their wages within each other, they can find different little inconsistencies, and thereby you can negotiate for a better wage. And there's nothing wrong with negotiating. Let's see. 41.6% of workers report workers have been reprimanded by management for discussing workplace issues in the store or on social media, which if I were those workers, I would push the issue. I would be like, no, I am allowed to discuss whatever the hell I want. I would push it. As Target workers report struggling to make ends meet while experiencing cuts to their schedules, loss of benefits, and increased workloads, Target reported record share prices at the end of 2019. But, bottom line, man, they've got investors. They've got people they've got to make happy with money, 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 money. You increase the minimum wage, they're going to find ways to make it to their advantage. Trust me, they're a business. That's what they do. CNN Business ranked Target's chief executive officer, Brian Cornell, their top CEO of 2019, citing the retail chain consistently beating predictions of sales and profits in 2019 and finding a balance between physical stores and digital commerce. The retail chain is ranked the 8th largest retail corporation in the U.S. based on sales. And I guarantee you they are thinking of ways to change their way of operating. How can we get rid of more employees? How can we cut more hours and get more automated? Go more online. Go more where it's a computer handling things. Go more where we can put some of the responsibilities like Walmart is doing with the self-checkouts on the customers themselves. What is the next step? Well, there are things in the pipeline that say there might be things that read that chip on your credit card, and you just load your basket in with whatever you want. You don't even go through a self-checkout. You just walk right out the store. And as you walk out the store, it scans everything, because we're getting to that point right now where it is cheaper to make a computer chip than it is to print a barcode on a box of cereal. And once we've reached that point, well, then with a RFID chip or whatever at the time they decide, computer chip on a box, it's very easy to just set up sensors that scan it and charge you, scan it and charge you, scan it and charge you. That's it. You just walk out with everything. Well, you don't need any cashiers at that point. You really don't. And you need minimum security because it scans your card as you go out. If you don't have a card, I don't know, maybe they'll have something where the doors don't open, or they have like a little Sally port type thing you got to go through. Who knows? Who knows? But this is the way we're going to. This is the way we're going to. $15 an hour minimum wage will be such a strain on the companies that it is that one point, that magic moment where companies say, okay, we need to change. We need to automate. We need to get rid of some employees because, come on, $15 an hour minimum wage times however many employees all the targets have. That is a huge extra cost. That is a huge extra cost. And they are businesses for a reason. They're businesses to make money. They're not businesses to make you happy. Come on now. Target doesn't care about you. They care about their investors. And their self-perpetuation. Anyways, that's what I got on this one. Personally, $15 an hour minimum federal wage. Yes, bring it on for me personally. Yes, yes. I'm not going to complain one bit personally. But I will complain on the fact that I love the United States. I love the United States people. And if I'm not doing as good as possibly maybe I could be, but hey, you know what? Everybody is kind of doing good, and we've got good policies. As long as we've got good policies, I'm all for working a little bit harder to make some more money. But it's not good. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Anyways, that's what I got for you on this one. Thoughts and opinions. I love you guys, and stay informed.